in that crucial BJP bastion. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on India Business Hour. What a day it's turned out to be. Development after development, and it's not done. Let's kick things off with Rahul Gandhi, who has achieved his first major electoral victory. In fact, on this day, 1 year ago exactly, he was elected party president. And now he finally has something to cheer about.
There is a feeling among people in our country that what was committed by Mr. Modi, he has not been able to deliver. I mean, that's clear cut. And that is something that we felt throughout the campaign very strongly. People were coming up to us and saying that. With a resurgent Congress party in these states and in other states where the BJP is ruling, and a combined opposition, it's going to become very difficult for the Prime Minister and for the BJP to win the election. I mean, that is pretty clear. And this is a clear message to the Prime Minister and to the BJP that the country is not happy with what they're doing. The country is not happy with demonetization. The country is not happy with GST. The country is not happy with the lack of jobs. Mr. Modi sold a vision to this country 5 years ago. And this country had the patience to listen to that vision and then to give him 5 years to carry out that vision. And by all accounts, Mr. Narendra Modi and the BJP have failed in providing our country with a vision going forward for the 21st century, for 2018, 2019, 2025. So I think what we would be trying to do is we would be trying to, other than attacking the current dispensation, we would be setting the structure and the architecture for a new vision going forward for our country.
Well, that's Rahul Gandhi, and marking his first year as Congress president with at least a confirmed victory for the Congress in Rajasthan and a sweep for the Congress, which was unexpected by most quarters in Chhattisgarh. MP, as I pointed out, a dead heat. It's lost Mizoram, though, and that alliance with the TDP has not worked out for the Congress in Telangana. So you win some, you lose some, but today the Congress party will breathe easy. Joining us now, Khushbu Sundar of the Congress party, Narendra Taneja of the BJP, Yogendra Yadav, president of Swaraj India, and Saurabh Mukherjee, founder of Marcellus Investment Managers. Thanks very much for joining us. Khushbu Sundar, let me come to you first. You know, the question often asked of Congress spokespeople at the end of verdict days are, how will the Congress introspect? But that's my question to Narendra Taneja later on the program. What has worked for the Congress party? What specifically about your strategy has worked this time around to be able to reclaim lost ground, and lost ground quite significantly in the previous elections? How have you managed to reclaim ground? What worked?
First and foremost, I would like to thank the people of Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh for supporting us and allowing us to win. And we accepted defeat with a lot of humility in Mizoram as well as Telangana, and congratulations to the winning parties. Madhya Pradesh, yes, we would love to win it, and it's almost done. We're almost on the tag end where we know that we're going to take it. I think what has worked for us in these places, I think, is we spoke with utmost honesty. We did not try to give them hopes. We did not try to build something, a dream in the clouds. We did not promise them something which is beyond the reach. I think we spoke with utmost honesty. We worked with lot of humility, and at the ground level, like Rahulji said, that we could feel the way people were responding every time they were there campaigning and meeting the people. You know how Rahulji very extensively campaigned there, even our senior leaders, and I think we all stood together. That was the biggest plus for us. We spoke about the farmers' distress, we spoke about the unemployment, we spoke about the women's safety, we spoke about so many other issues which was plaguing these states. And I think we gave them it's not that what they wanted to hear, but then we gave them that fresh hope that when Congress promises something, we will be able to fulfill it.
Okay, all right. So you're saying that the campaign of the Congress party resonated with people across these states, which is why the Congress found benefit there with voters. But let me go across First to Yogendra Yadav, and then I'll get Narendra Taneja to respond to all the comments that have come in. Yogendra, one theme that is playing out across each of these state elections is the fact that the BJP has misread the agrarian challenge. It's misread the farmers' anger, and that is something that the Congress has been successfully able to tap into. If you look at what's happened in Chhattisgarh, that is clearly a factor that shows up across the state of Chhattisgarh. It shows up even in Rajasthan and even in BJP bastions of Madhya Pradesh. What would your expectation now be, given the fact that this will, in a sense, sound the alarm bells?
Shireen, my sense is that Congress has not successfully tapped into this. Congress has very partially tapped into it, given the extent of agrarian distress, given the extent of farmers' anger, and general unhappiness with the regimes. For example, in Rajasthan, Congress could have given a knockout to the BJP. What they have managed is merely a technical victory. So Congress has insufficiently used that. To my mind, the verdict today is a message to the BJP. They are not invincible. Mr. Modi's magic wand doesn't work the way it used to. But the message for Congress is complacency won't work. And mere technical coalitions won't work. You need to give hope. You need to give vision that Rahul Gandhi was talking about, but it hasn't arrived yet. And what today's verdict has done is decisively change the equation for election 2019. Just very quickly, Shireen, before I go, BJP had 5 things going for it. Machine, which still is with the BJP, electoral machine, which is to say the organizational machine. Modi, somewhat dented, popular, but not so decisive. Mandir doesn't work. That's a clear message of today. Money is still with BJP, but from tomorrow onwards, I expect those who control money to distribute. They don't want to put all their eggs in now the BJP basket. And finally, media, which has been, let's say, supportive of Modi regime in a way that's embarrassing. From tomorrow, that tone will also change. So in other words, the terrain for the Lok Sabha election 2019, it's more of a level playing ground today than it was till yesterday, and that's a very big change. The tone has been decided, and the agenda shall be not Hindu Mussalman, but Jawan and Kisan.
Okay, that's what you believe will be the agenda, and the 5 M's highlighted there by Yogendra Yadav, Narendra Taneja. I'll get you to respond to that, but let me very quickly bring Saurabh Mukherjee into the conversation as well, because Saurabh, look at the way the markets have reacted today. You had the state elections plus Urjit Patel's resignation to contend with. We opened gap down, and the kind of recovery that the market saw this afternoon. What does that tell you, and what should we now realistically expect from here on? Are we going to go back to tracking global triggers, tracking fund flows, and of course tracking what's happening with the economy where there has been a slowdown?
I think, Shireen, what it tells you is that if you look at the data in India over the last 10, 20, even 30 years, there's very little to suggest that whether it's assembly elections or indeed general elections has that much to do with the economic growth trajectory of our country or the corporate earnings growth trajectory. Our economy is one of the largest in the world now, $3 trillion, and for better or for worse, it doesn't seem to have that much to do with our polity, which is both at one level good for people like me because it allows us to invest through days like this. But at another level, it obviously raises fundamental questions about the legitimacy of the political process in the country.
Okay, so perhaps we make too much of politics and its impact as far as the markets are concerned. But let me now bring in Narendra Taneja. Mr. Taneja, many thanks for listening in to what our panel had to say. As I pointed out, usually the question asked of the Congress at the end of a day like this is, what is the introspection that you will do? I ask you today, Narendra Taneja, what is the introspection that the BJP will do today?
Well, good question. First of all, first thing first, congratulations to Congress for Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, and to the winners in Telangana and Mizoram. Madhya Pradesh, we are still waiting for the final results. But you see, we are going to analyze very carefully Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, because when you look at Rajasthan in particular, I mean, we have hardly lost the election. In fact, if you look at the sheer percentage, Congress and BJP more or less the same. percentage is the same.
Same, yes.
And Madhya Pradesh, we are still waiting for the final outcome. But Chhattisgarh is a bit of a surprise because we did a fantastic work there the last 15 years. We have completely transformed Chhattisgarh, and still we lost it. So something that we need to analyze very, very carefully. And but as I said, this is going to be a very scientific analysis. Only after that we'll be able to provide the answer. But there seems to be a couple of things that we need to be working on further down, and that is we are transforming the rural economy. But it seems that a section of the people living in the rural part of the country, they probably expect us to deliver even faster on this transformation. And the second part is probably the small industry, SMEs. We have done a lot for them, but probably they also expect us to do more for them. So these are two areas which probably we will need to focus on, in coming 3 to 4 months.
So what is
almost 90%
that more going to be? So what is that 10% that you believe is spending going to be? What is that more going to be for the rural sector as well as for SMEs?
Let me explain to you. As far as the rural sector is concerned, we have delivered almost more than 90%. But it's still, for instance, in Madhya Pradesh and other parts of India, the farmers are facing a different kind of situation where there is just too much production and they don't know what to do with it. We have come out with the best possible mechanism. All the tested mechanisms have been put on the on the ground, but still we find, but we need to be probably a little bit more innovative. Whatever the kind of mechanism suggested by the best experts, probably we need something more ideas in order to make sure the farmers have access to more money and they can sell their produce easily and at better rates. So this is one thing we need to we are going to work on. And as far as the SMEs are concerned, we have done a lot of work.
And I'll ask you this because I've had you on the program, sir, during the times that we've discussed the farmers' agitation, whether it was in Maharashtra or here in the national capital as well. And the comment or the commentary from the BJP very clearly was that this was all politically motivated, that there was no agrarian crisis, there was no rural distress. These were all politically motivated agitations. Today, do you realize that that was a mistake, the folly of underestimating that? Today, is there a realization?
No, Shirin, give me 10 seconds. No, this agitation was by the the farmers, only farmers. Rural economy is not only about farmers. There are laborers, there are other people, there are young people, there are women, there are other peoples too. So we are talking of the rural economy. The people who brought these farmers to Lal Killa, instead of actually helping them, what they do is, I'm talking of those politicians. I mean, some of these politicians may come out like agriculture experts and experts in this and that. But the fact is, they bring these farmers to Ram Leela Maidan for political purposes. So the comment was about that. Actually, instead of doing something good for them, they just bring them to Ram Leela Maidan and then they leave them there.
Sir, if their voices are not that's playing out across these states, so I think there is a shortcoming there, and you yourself pointed out that is a shortcoming that you may want to address. But let me bring back Khushbu Sundar, and I want to pick up on the point that Yogendra Yadav made, Khushbu, that this is not really a defeat of, this is not a victory for the Congress as much as it is a defeat of the BJP, and that the Congress perhaps has tended to get a bit complacent. For instance, the assumption was in Rajasthan that you would romp home. It hasn't been anything like that. Yes, you have reclaimed significant ground from 2013, but the margin of victory, perhaps as per your expectation, is also on the lower side. And the other crucial aspect is about now having to start selling that idea of a new India. Your president spoke about it today in the press conference when he addressed the media, but now give us specifics of what is it that you will offer to India.
First, we need to give the expertise to Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, because these are two states which are confirmed in our kitty, and we are going to work on that. We have to address the issues which have been practically there for the last so many years, and that is why people have voted the BJP out of power. I would not like to agree with Yogendraji, with all due respect to him, if he says that this is not Congress victory, because we knew exactly a year ago when Rahulji took over as the president of the Congress, everyone wanted to write him off. They said he does not have the charm, he does not have the charisma, he does not have the spunk of the Prime Minister, he does not have the leadership qualities. And here we are a young man of 48 who's heading the, one of the largest parties, grand old party of the country, and he has shown the results. So this is a huge victory for us, probably not for anyone else. And I'm sure even the BJP is completely taken aback because they wouldn't have expected this kind of a victory where Rahul ji could lead from the front. And I think that is very, very big for us. The numbers, yes, we will have to work on it. We have to sit and analyze as to where we can increase the numbers, the vote share and all of this. But on a moral ground, yes, it's a huge victory for us. And we would like to actually celebrate that victory because Rahul Gandhi's leadership qualities have been sealed. And people definitely, when you talk about the referendum of 2019, from here, it's going to start, and people are going to look at him the other way. And right, exactly what Yogendra ji said, the way people, including the press, the section of media, who were actually, washing their hands off Rahul Gandhi and were finding every possible reason to make a clown out of him, are going to retract their words, and they're going to be very careful the way they address him, and it's going to be a newfound respect for Rahul Gandhi. And for us, in Congress, that's a big victory. Now, coming to the states, what we need to offer, what we have said in the manifesto is exactly what we have to offer. At the onset of the of this debate, I said we do not promise them which we cannot afford to give. So our manifesto says what all we can afford, and that is where the first criteria definitely is going to be the agrarian problem, because we believe that the farmers are the backbones of the country. The agriculture aspect is the backbone of the country, and this country will progress and survive unless we do not support and make the agrarian sector strong. We will never be able to progress in this country called India. So that is one aspect we are going to look at, and that will be the first criteria for us.
Okay, that'll be the first priority, addressing the agrarian crisis. Ms. Taneja, you congratulated the Congress party at the start of the program. What about Rahul Gandhi? Are you going to stop making jokes about him?
No, we don't make jokes about him. It's the people of India who make jokes about him. They are the people.
Oh, come on. Come on, sir. Come on, sir.
Shireen, just a second. We are a political party. We are active in social media. So is Congress party. No, so is Congress party. So are the number of other political parties. All political parties across the world.
All right.
Across the world, they are active in social media. Mr. Yogendra Yadav, who is a politician, first and foremost, his party is also trying to use the social media.
So being active,
you see, the point here is that there is nothing wrong with it. But the question is, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has to earn it.
No, there's nothing wrong with being active on social media. Khushbu Sundar's point is he's earned it today.
Rahul Gandhi has yet to earn.
On the day that he marks 1 year in office, he's earned it.
Let me complete one sentence.
That's your point of view. The Congress party has a different point of view. Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Let me complete the sentence, please. Thank you very much. All I'm saying is that, about Mr. Rahul Gandhi has never been in government. He has no experience in governance. So we really don't know. Even when UPA 2 was in power, he was offered to become a minister, he said no. So we don't know. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the politician, the campaigner, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the person who can govern. These are three different, three different areas. So we yet to know. As far as respecting Rahul Gandhi is concerned, I personally respect everyone, including Mr. Rahul Gandhi. But people of India will decide whether to
Rahul Gandhi's intelligence.
Okay, well,
why are you
I hope
you
that
see, the point is
all
that
political
when you
I
raise
hope
this
all
in the
political
debate,
parties are more respectful on social media. I do hope that is, in fact, not just on social media, but in public discourse as well. I hope that we do see more respectful conversations.
I
Let me
agree
go
with you,
across to Saurabh Mukherjee. Saurabh,
I agree with you.
Freebies... it's the same story whether it's the Congress or the BJP when it comes to the loan waiver. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So what we have heard from the Congress president is that he believes the loan waiver alone is not a solution, but of course they will honor that commitment made in the manifesto. But even from a policy perspective, from the government's point of view now, what is the fear that the markets may have of any policy mistakes or policy misadventures, for instance? And I'll also ask you this in the context of the fact that we now have a new RBI governor in place, and there have been various demands made by the government of the RBI when it comes to, for instance, access to credit for NBFCs, bringing banks out of PCA, and so on and so forth. What would your concern be, both in terms of, fiscal consolidation and the promise to be able to stick to that, as well as any possible misadventures on the policy front?
I think let me take the easier part of that question first. I think what's relatively clear in the run-up to this election, and indeed this is the case in India in the run-up to most elections, is the rural vote bank is massive. It tends to preoccupy politicians' minds and their policies, and hence the fear in the market is that we will see the fiscal deficit getting compromised in the current fiscal, and will then have to repair the fisc in the 2 years preceding, 2 years following the general election. So the 10-year bond yield, the rupee, I think will both hinge around that, the worry that the fisc gets compromised as the rural vote bank bears down upon the government. On Shaktikant Das, he's a very able civil servant. I've seen him master very complex briefs, whether at the G20 or indeed when he was in the finance ministry, and I have no doubt that as an able civil servant stepping into a high-profile job, he'll do an excellent job. The challenge, however, is the circumstances are very vitiated, and dare I say the circumstances are politicized, and hence I think he's got his job cut out for him over the next 2 to 3 months to see if he can win the confidence of the financial markets, much like Raghuram Rajan did in his first month. I think the first month for Shakti Das will be critical, and he'll have to instill confidence in the FX markets, especially that the rupee, the value of the rupee is central to the RBI, and that loose monetary policies or lax banking system policies is something that he won't follow. The pressure upon him, I suspect, is enormous, but I can't think of a better civil servant than him to take the job on hand.
Well, he is going to be treading in troubled waters. But sorry, before I let you go, very quickly, the big triggers that the market is going to watch out for from here on, assuming that it is at the end of tonight, 3-0 in favor of the Congress.
I think two sets of triggers really. I think on the fiscal front, we'll all be watching to see how much the spending revs up between now and the end of the year. As we know, the budget deficit for the current fiscal has already been breached. So really any excessive spending between now and March will be harder for the bond markets to digest. And on the banking system front, the broad contours of the Delhi versus Mumbai ding dong are well known: PCA, NBFCs, RBI reserves, and hence what stance Shakti Das takes in his first couple of months in the RBI on those three issues will be keenly watched.
Yes, those certainly will be keenly watched. Narendra Taneja, let me get wrap-up comments from both you and Khushbu Sundar, and I'll start by asking you, Mr. Taneja. We're getting to the start of a new parliament session. There are several bills expected to be taken up by government. You talked about how you believe the government will now focus more on addressing the pending 10% when it comes to the rural economy as well as SMEs. The GST Council meeting is also coming up. Would your expectation be that we could expect some relief even as far as the GST is concerned?
Yes, I mean, there are some more items, and which probably, but as you know, GST is something where all state and now the new chief ministers of these states are also going to be, their finance minister are also going to be on the board. So GST is a completely different, beast. They all have to come together. Of course, the center anchors that. But the important point I want to make is that, when it comes to our work, people of India, these elections took place in these states. I respect that, the outcome also and all that. But let's not forget one thing, especially when it comes to the Congress party, since we are discussing that. You can travel from Delhi 2,005 kilometers right up to Arunachal and Nagaland. You won't find a single bird holding the flag of the Congress party. That's the reality on the ground. So Shireen, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. We are quite confident.
I'm not carried away one way or the other, sir. Makes no difference to my life.
No, not you personally. No, Shireen, not you personally. No, I'm not addressing you. I'm just saying that those who are. You see, what I'm saying is that we have got a vision in place. People have endorsed our vision, and the people, we are quite confident, come April or May when the elections will be held, we will return to power even with bigger majority and with even bigger and deeper vigor and commitment to serve this country and to make India an economic superpower as soon as possible.
Okay. Okay, that's the claim that you're making, that you will return to power with an even bigger majority than you did in 2014. The question, though, is, and I know that, you know, a lot of people say that you cannot extrapolate what the assembly elections do with the general elections, but, you know, there has been a significant loss of seats in comparison to the performance of the BJP in these 4 states in 2013. And again, I'm not suggesting that there is going to be a direct correlation between this and the general elections, but there has been a significant loss of seats. In 2013, the BJP won 370 seats, 377 to be precise, across these 4 states, and you have dropped quite significantly. But Khushbu Sundar, for the Congress party now, how crucial is it going to be to ensure that you don't do tactical alliances? I mean, what is the lesson that you take away from Telangana? It boomeranged for you. You're actually down in Telangana after that alliance with the TDP. What is the big takeaway as far as alliances are concerned on the back of this election verdict?
I think definitely you can't win everything. Expecting that you're going to win everything is going to be foolish. We tried our best. We tried to tie up with TDP. Yes, it boomeranged for us. So we're going to sit back and, you know, retrospect as to where we went wrong, analyze it, sit with our senior leaders. And of course, when we look at TDP, we would be thankful for them for joining hands with us and being with us, because they have taken a bickering too. It's not only Congress, it's even the TDP. Yeah. So I think we should be thankful to them for standing by us. And we'll always be grateful to Chandrababu Naidu, sir, for showing the support and faith in Rahul Gandhi ji. But of course, we need to sit and analyze. And from here, you know, the doors have opened up. We are going to work. We are not going to take this victory lightly. We know this is where the hard work actually starts for us. And we are not going to rest even for a day. But we are going to work for 2019 elections. Okay. And we are going to tell the BJP, you're talking about Mizoram or, you know, even 2,005 kilometers up from Delhi. I would like to say the dream of Congress Mukt Bharat will always remain a dream. So we are not going to dream of BJP Mukt Bharat, because we want an opposition. We believe in democracy, and being firm believers in democracy, we say that we need a healthy opposition to allow us to keep ourselves you know, constantly in touch with the reality, because until unless we don't get the bickering from the opposition, we will not be able to work better.
Okay, the Congress president also saying that we don't believe in the concept of opposition Mukt Bharat. Very quickly, Mr. Taneja, I know you want to come in, but I'd request you to just hold on. Mr. Jaitley is speaking. Very quickly, we listen in and then come back to you for a final comment.
The curve turning the other way.
Okay. So in our way, we say whenever... So in a way, we say whenever Congress loses, we say it's because of the Rahul Gandhi's leadership. And so, like, you know, just...
You see, no election depends on an individual. An election is a combination of several factors. You have the government of the NDA at the center, you have a BJP government in the state, you have opposition contesting, whether it's an anti-incumbency or it's the state leadership or it's a fatigue factor. There are several other factors. I don't think anybody should mislead himself by an Herodian analysis of saying that the victory or the defeat is just because of one person.
Okay. Sir, people, including Mamata Banerjee, saying this is a reflection of 2019 election.
Well, let me tell you, the issues in a state election are entirely different. We won all these 3 states in 2003 December, and we lost the general election in 2004. So therefore, it really doesn't get an automatic translation. The 2019 election will be an election around the performance of the central government and the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The election issue really will be, do we want a tried and tested leadership and a government in place, or do we want some kind of an unstable, non-ideological coalition which is bound to splinter away sooner than later?
Okay, so Rahul Gandhi in a piece, commenting on PM and his policies also.
Well, I don't want to join issues with persons.
Okay. So new governor, RBI governor has been appointed, Shri Kanta Das.
Well, today the government has taken a decision to appoint Shri Shaktikant Das as the new governor of the Reserve Bank of India. This was necessitated by the resignation of the outgoing former governor, Dr. Urjit Patel. Shri Shaktikant Das has been a very senior and an experienced civil servant. He spent his almost entire career in the management of finances and the economic management of the country, both when he was in the state government of Tamil Nadu and also when he was in the government of India in the Ministry of Finance. And besides his experience as the Revenue Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Secretary Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance, he's also had an experience of having prepared several budgets as a Joint Secretary in charge of the Budget Division of the Government of India. And subsequently, he's been a G20 Sherpa on behalf of India, which is also a parallel economic dialogue which goes on. He's been a member of the 15th Finance Commission. I think he has the right credentials. He has been extremely professional, has worked under various governments, and has excelled himself. And I'm sure in meeting the challenges before India's economy as a governor of the Reserve Bank, he'll certainly add to that office. The government of India strongly believes that the Reserve Bank is an independent and an autonomous body. It's a highly professional body in its own field, and the government will fully support the Reserve Bank of India and coordinate with it in various areas where consultations with government are required to make sure that India's economy benefits the best from both governmental policy decisions as also as those areas which fall within the domain of the Reserve Bank.
Well, that is Finance Minister Arun Jaitley there reacting to both the election results as well as the government's decision to appoint Shaktikant Das. The Finance Minister there saying that the government maintains it believes in the autonomy and the independence of the central bank, and they believe that Shaktikant Das is the right man for the job given the fact that he's had significant experience in government working on matters related to finance. And remember, this is going to be a tough balancing act for Mr. Shaktikant Das as he treads in troubled waters. That's no secret. Of course, the Finance Minister there saying that the government will support whatever policy decisions are needed in consultation with the RBI to ensure that it works for the benefit of the Indian economy. Well, that's one newsmaker tonight, but the other, Rajasthan Congress President Sachin Pilot, speaking exclusively to my colleague Bhupen Chaubey. Let's listen in.
Come on, I mean, you can be honest, no? I mean, I may want to be something, so I should be honest, and I want to do this, and I want to, I want to work on the future of people. If you want to work on the future of Rajasthan, what better opportunity for you than to be the Chief Minister of the state?
So, Bhupen, I've got a lot from this party. Congress party has given me a lot. I became MP when I was 26, and I've been a minister in the Union Cabinet. I've been president for 5 years. Now it depends on what the party wants, and I am always there to serve the party in whatever capacity I'm asked for.
Okay, throw some light on how you'll be different. When Vasundhara Raje was the Chief Minister, she positioned herself as a digital CEO. She said, I'm the CEO of this state. If Sachin Pilot becomes the CM, he'll be the CEO of the state. What will Sachin Pilot be known as?
No, that's speculative as to who will become CM or not. But I can tell you that the Congress party, once in government, will not become cut off like Vasundhara ji was from her people. To remain ever connected, to be accessible, to be able to talk to people. You must hear people, right? What they feel, what they want, what they aspire for. And only then can you take decisions in their interest. You can't really be aloof and cut off and then think that you are in tune with the people. And the kind of politics the Congress party follows is people-based politics. I mean, our manifesto this time, when we produced it, we took 2 lakh suggestions from everybody in Rajasthan through social media, through telephones, mobiles, SMSs, and then formulated our manifesto. So even when we form the government, the Congress party, the Congress government will A, deliver on its manifesto promises, unlike the BJP, and second, it will be a people's government. Everyone must feel a stakeholder in people who run the show in Jaipur. It must not be seen as a MyBap or a dictatorial or arrogant government. I think it's very important that perception that this government is people's government. You know, reach out to the people. And half the troubles are done if you have a helping hand, if you have you know, noble intentions, and if you really have the conviction of courage and the determination to do well for the people, resources are never short. If you have the willpower and the, you know, the focus to do things, it gets done, and people appreciate those efforts when you put in.
Okay, you know, Surjit Bhalla is here with me, and he's been telling me that how actually the gap between Congress's vote polled and the BJP's vote polled is just 2%. And there are many who are saying that you may have benefited this time around. It doesn't mean that, say, 4 months down the line in Lok Sabha elections, this gap will necessarily stay in your favor. Is that something that's a cause of concern to you, Sachin?
I think, don't forget that this election was, you know, the full force of the Prime Minister and Amit Shah and the BJP machinery and the RSS and the VHP and the Bajrang Dal and what have you. They were focused on Rajasthan for the last 10 days because all the elections were over. And they tried everything to, you know, get them, you know, to emotionally get people to vote as opposed to rationally. They tried to do that. They didn't succeed. But I can tell you, you know, when the mood is changing and these 3 elections going states, the results are, you know, a very clear indication of what lies ahead in the future. So 2019, I'm absolutely certain that the Congress, along with other opposition parties, will create a rainbow coalition that will dislodge the NDA. Anyway, NDA partners are leaving them left, right and center. Not just the CBI chief and the RBI chief, but also the TDP and the Shiv Sena and perhaps other parties. Mr. Kushwaha has also left the NDA. So it's a you know, it's falling apart, the NDA, as I can see it. And their policies and their politics, you see, the kind of Ram Mandir politics they want to accentuate, that is going to be resisted by majority of the people in India.
And specifically in the context of Rajasthan, we saw Vasundhara Raje paying a heavy price because of Rajput community being upset with her handling of affairs. The Meena community was upset with her handling of affairs. How's Sachin Pilot-led Congress party going to change things around now?
See, the Congress, I think, is a party that does not polarize communities and castes. We take everyone along together. And this election also, there were a lot of people in communities who were upset with the BJP and how they treated them. I mean, if you can't do positive things, one must not try and humiliate communities and leaders of those communities. So the Congress, I think, is very mindful of the sensitivities that operate. We try to get everyone on board. And it is an open party with equal regard and respect for every single person. Okay. And I think that's the way the Congress government will also function once we get a chance to form the government.
All right, Sachin. Congratulations once again. Well done. Job well done. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, that is Sachin Pilot there of the Congress party, has worked to ensure that Rajasthan goes in favor of the Congress. Will he be Chief Minister or not? That question remains unanswered. A quick final comment from Narendra Taneja. Narendra Taneja, the NDA will be replaced by a rainbow coalition. Anyway, your partners don't want to be a part of the coalition any longer. Quick comment from you before we wrap.
Well, I was a little bit surprised to listen into this interview of Mr. Sachin Pilot. I mean, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was more graceful, more mature today, honestly. But Mr. Pilot, I'm extremely disappointed. I mean, he's already. I mean, he should have. You know, you should look at when if you're commenting on the national scene. I think you should have more meat in your argument. These are sweeping things, and it's really surprising for a person who just won the election in Rajasthan should be talking, you know, in such a sweeping manner. But that's why, therefore, that's what I'm saying, that parliamentary elections are, you know, are fought on. It's a different nature there, different issues, and you know, and a different kind of campaign and different kind of manifesto. And therefore, and I go back to this thing. Mr. Sachin Pilot may say whatever. He must actually listen to his own leader first, which he has, evidently he has not. But but 2019 next parliamentary elections, I want to say, Shireen, we will fight that election with more vigor, even, you know, deeper commitment, and we will come back to power. And as I promised, that we will work only with one mission in our mind, that is to make India's economy strong, to make India's farmers strong, to make Indian youth strong, and to make India ultimately an economic superpower with $20 trillion economy eventually. But first target is $5 trillion economy.
Okay, first target is a $5 trillion economy, and the BJP actually calling Rahul Gandhi a lot more graceful leader this evening. Khushbu Sundar, it is a day of surprises. Very quickly, a quick wrap-up comment from you. We're Than Sachin Pilot. We're completely out of time. Khushbu Sundar, final comment.
Thank you very much for showing the grace and accepting Rahul Gandhi as a leader. Secondly, I would really expect BJP to fight the 2019 elections on a different ground altogether, not about Hindutva, not about Ram Mandir, not about gas, or not about Nala, or not about pakodas, but more about Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Let that be the motto for the 2019.
All right, Khushbu Sundaran, Narendra Taneja, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 with your take on the crucial state elections. As we speak, it's still not done for Madhya Pradesh, still dead heat between the Congress and the BJP. It promises to be a long night.